Jose Pereira is a renowned leadership and resilience coach, author, and motivational speaker. His memoir, From Hero to Villain, chronicles his 5-year ordeal as an international hostage, making him a prominent voice on hostage diplomacy in the U.S. Through his profound insights and unwavering spirit, Jose inspires and empowers audiences worldwide. His talk today is How Faith Saved My Life, a journey from darkness to purpose. Jose, welcome to the Bree Talk stage.
Well, thank you, Charlie. Well, I'm going to say something. I'm so surprised with all the speech that we're having today. I have been amazing speech. So I'm very proud of all the speeches that are here today. Wow, it has been something that touched my heart. So when Terlee put this summit, that I saw that she was having the Faith and Flourish Summit, I said, I want to be there. Because, when she was talking about faith is something that really is part of my life. So that it's part of my story, because I'm here because of the faith. And this is what I want to share today with you, because for me, faith is the force that made me survive the situation that I went through. So for those that doesn't know me, my name is Jose Pereira, and the faith has been always my guide in my life. But I went through a very dramatic situation in 2017 that maybe the people are not familiar. I'm going to only talk briefly about that because I want to concentrate more in what is the faith. But my story begins in 2017, finishing 2017. I did a career in the oil and gas, and by that moment, I was the CEO of an oil and gas company here in the U.S., Citgo Petroleum. Citgo Petroleum is a very well-known refinery and gas stations all over the U.S. I was the CEO of the company at the time. And that company belongs to Venezuela. And I'm Venezuelan born, and there was having a lot of issues between the U.S. and Venezuela at that moment. The long story short is that I was getting retired, and at the end of my career, after 35 years to get retired, I decided to go to my retirement mode. And I received a last-minute call that became my worst of my nightmare, because I became a hostage, an international hostage. But before that happened, I went through a situation that really began to force me all this situation, because when that change in my life came, 1 month before, I have been in a summit in my company where I heard a speaker talking about the ordeal that he went through, and he was an international hostage. He was an international hostage 1 month before, and that guy has been captured by so many pirates during years. And they made a movie on him, Captain Phillips, the movie that Tom Hanks made. So that guy was a speaker. And when he finished his speech, I remember that I began to talk with him about his ordeal. And he told me these words, that everybody has inside an inner force that you can unleash it, but it's connected with God. And when that guy told me that, I didn't know what he was saying, but it really touched my heart. Today, I believe that guy was an angel talking with me, because 1 month after came my situation. So now I'm in the middle of a meeting in Caracas, November 21, 2017. And in the middle of the meeting where I finished my presentation, I did a great presentation. It was my finishing of my career. Suddenly comes some guards and from the military police of that country, and I was captured hostage with my 5 top executives, and we were accused to be American spy, and we were accused to be committed to treason of the country. And a few minutes after, we were in handcuffed, heading to the worst of the dungeon, one of the worst dungeons of the world, and we stayed there 5 years. So for me, that was a moment that I didn't know what was going on. And we became like a brand. We became the Citgo 6. That's the way the press decided to baptize us. So everybody can Google and put Citgo 6, CITGO 6, and we'll find a lot of stories of that. But the situation there is that experience began to fill me with I was having fear. I was having desolation. I was having isolation because I was isolated. We were separated, all of us. And I began to have despair and uncertainty. And I didn't believe what was going on. I heard somebody before talking about that when some adverse situation and said that is not true. I believe it was his husband that died when he announced that he had that disease. So that's what happened in adversity. The first reaction of you is that you will deny it. And I was denying it because I didn't know what was why we were going through the situation. And that gave me a lot of despair. I began to be really hopeless. I stayed in that situation, in that isolation, almost 1 year. So my first months, I was totally hopeless. I lost totally my faith in God. I was a guy that I was not a religious guy. I come from a Catholic country, and I was a guy that went to Sunday to the church, but I was not a religious guy. So that gave me more anger with God. So really, I was angry why God made me that, because I was a guy that was in my pinnacle of my career. I did a wonderful corporate career, and I was finishing my career in a wonderful way. And I didn't know why I was going through that. So I was really feeling anger with God. But God makes miracles. Because in some moment, I cannot say in when, because it's something that came. I began to think that I needed to be back to my family, that my family needed me, that my wife needed me. I had, at that time, 31 years married, and I had renewed my vote 1 year before. So for me, I began to think more in my family. And that made me begin to have more hope. And some days after, I received a call from my wife, and that gave me much more hope. And after 1 year that we were put together, that 6 of us, now we begin to cheer each other, and we had the miracle way. We received a small Bible, a pocket Bible. Even though we didn't have books, nothing, they smuggled a Bible. And when they smuggled that Bible, we begin to read the Bible. And when we begin to read the Bible in the night, in a corner with a candle that the cameras couldn't see us, I remember that we were one day reading the Bible, like 4 or 5 guys, and came one of the guards and saw us. And we were scared to death because we thought that this guy was going to punish us. And the guard told us, no, continue doing it. Continue reading the Bible and pray for me. So the guy was asking we pray for him. And we begin to pray for the guy. So when we begin to pray for the guy, 2 days after, the guy brought us a full-size Bible. And he said, you are authorized to read the Bible. I found authorization that you read the Bible. And we begin to read the Bible every night. And more people begin to come. And we begin to see the passage of the Old Testament and the New Testament. And we begin to see what the prophets and what the disciples, all the despair, all the adversity, everything that were gone through, how they made it through was because they found faith in God. And that was, we discovered that was keeping moving us. So when we discovered that we had that faith in God, is where we could unleash that unbreakable spirit that you have inside. Everybody has that force inside, but you need to have that connection. And that's what we did. Not only me, my colleagues, was a collective discovery. So we found that strong connection that is more powerful than any physical chain. That is the faith in God. So this is really powerful when we discover that. So at that point, we have lost everything. We have lost our freedom. We have lost our comfort. We have lost everything. Our family. The only thing that keep that lifeline was the faith in God. So I had now that Bible. I now had the Word of God, and I discovered that no matter the moment we were going, no matter the dark moment we were there, no matter how broken we were, God was with us. He never abandoned us. And we begin to see signs of God. So that strengthens our faith. Because when you're in any adversity, believing God will never abandon you, there is a moment He's more closer to you. So for me, when I begin to read those passages in the Bible, like the book of Job, Daniel, and Solomon, David, Paul, I became a big fan of Paul. So that began to strengthen our faith, because our faith was not our belief. It began to be our life. So we begin to live in faith, because faith is that thing that you don't see, but keeps you moving on. And we really begin to think that we were going to come back. I remember that we already had 4 years there, 4 years. And in the 4th year, one day appeared somebody. They went and told us that we're going to have a visit. And when we saw, was the ambassador Roger Carson. He runs the office of the special presidential office for Hosted Affairs. The first visit he did in person to Venezuela, we had a visit of him. And I remember when we finished the visit, 2 hours after, I told him, I don't know when, but we're gone. And you know what I did? I decided to bring, I had somebody that was taking my logistic. So I decided, I had a small luggage in a place. So I told him to bring me that luggage, because I was gonna come back with that luggage. And I decided to begin to take everything that I had there and only leave a small luggage with some small closet, and I put it in a corner in a room. And every morning I saw that luggage, and I said, you're gonna go back with me. So that luggage became my anchor of my faith, because I was thinking that luggage was a representation that we're gonna be freed. And it took 1 year. But 1 year after, October 2022, it's gonna be very soon my 2nd anniversary, they opened the door and said, get dressed that you're released. And I came back with that luggage. I have that luggage here. That luggage, one day I'm gonna put in a museum. I don't know where I'm gonna put that luggage, but I have it here. So the faith made us survive, because every day that we awake, it gave us hope in my heart. So that's what the faith did for me. The faith became my shield. The faith became the protection of my spirit. So every time I was reading the Bible, I was rediscovering that God always has a purpose for you in your life. So I found that for some reason, I was going through this. And that faith, that even we were going in those dark moments, when I begin to embrace it, I remember that I was calling my wife that last year more frequently, and they were having some kinds of bounce back in the relation, because it was a hard negotiation to get that released. And sometimes things were going better, and sometimes were not so good. When I was having a call with my wife, and she was sometimes depressed, thinking that I was never gonna come back. And I was telling her, Mommy, I'm gonna come back. But why you're so convinced? Because I believe in God. So that's what made me think that there is something greater for you. He's preparing, he has a purpose for you. So for me, when I came back after all this situation, my faith not only grew, it keeps growing today, because now I'm more connected to God. Today I do church service, and today I discover that God has a purpose for you. And for some reason, that was my purpose. Today I have my testimony, and I share with the people. And this is something that strengthens and boosted more my faith. And the faith not comes in the good times. The faith comes when you're going to hard trials, because there is a moment where it's more closest to you. So that's the most important of the faith. So God has a plan for you. So if you're going to any situation in life, if you're really feeling that you're in despair, that you're having some adversity, that you will never make it, believe me, you can do it, but you have to trust in God. So that faith made us combine today and share with others. And that's why I decided to become a leadership and resilience coach. I created my coaching program based on the survivor plan we did there. My coaching program is called Life Pill for a Surviving Guy, that you will see it here. And I work with business owners, CEOs, and entrepreneurs. I do one-on-one trainings to unleash that unbreakable spirit that everybody has inside, because that's what I did. I'm a life testament of that. And that keep us going. So today, not only I did a leadership coaching, I decided to become a speaker. That, like today I'm speaking. By the way, this is the first time I'm talking about faith publicly. But for me, when Terly told me, I said I want to talk about faith, because faith for me is something so meaningful. And I begin to speak, and I wrote my book. So I have here my book, From Hero to Billion. That is the result of what's my ordeal. But I say always that my book has more than that. It's the legacy, that anything in life you can survive it. But you need to have that connection with God, because everybody has inside that inner force. You have the power within, but you have to unleash it. And the only way to unleash it is get that connection with Him. So today that I share these stories, I believe that I can reach more people when I share my testimony, and this is something that really fills my heart of gratitude. But even I went through that extreme situation, today I can express it. And now I can channelize it. And now that I'm more connected to my church, I have been seeing miracles. How that makes me follow my path, because now I discover my purpose. And now I know that my purpose is a calling to help others. So that's what I do to do it. So if you want to connect with me, you will find here, this is my webpage, Jose Connect, joseconnect.com. In my webpage, you can find everything related to me, because you will find my coaching page where you see all my coaching programs. You will find my speaking page. You see all my speaking talking. If you want to book me for any event to inspire your team, I'm there. You will see several speaking gigs that I've done there. And one of that wonderful speech with Terry, of course. And you will find also my book page that you can, or you can take my book from my webpage, or you can go on Amazon. But not only that, today I have a newsletter where I talk about resilience and leadership in a weekly basis. By the way, I hit the 3,000 followers in that newsletter yesterday. So I'm very glad that now I have a community of 3,000 people that are my readers. And that newsletter, I decided to convert also in a radio program that today I have on a weekly basis. And I do a LinkedIn audio room too. So this has been an evolving process for me, because I discovered that as much as I share this testimony, it will help others. So my final thing that I want to share with the person here is that if you're going to any situation in your life, if you're going to anything that you think that you're not going to make it, if you're going to anything that you can imagine, please connect with the faith of God. Connect there, and this is the way you will find your path. So that is my testimony, and that's what happened to me. And that's what I survived in my captivity because of my faith. So why the faith made me survive? Because I learned that connecting with God, I can walk with him because he always was with me. He was shaping me. He was forging me. He was guiding my path, but he was always beside me. So this is what I want to finalize here, telling them, try to unleash the power within. You have it. You have it. But you have to do it with the grace of God. Thank you, Terlene, for having me.